Cool FM Live here at the Landmark Restaurant here in Sierra Vista, Arizona, with a very special guest here at the Landmark and visiting Sierra Vista all the way from Australia. His name is Evan Burnell. And Evan, you're with the Sierra Vista South Rotary has invited you to come down here to Sierra Vista, right?
That's right.
And all the way from Australia, or are you doing like a tour of America?
Well, look, I'm only here for a week, but this is my 16th trip to the United States, so I've seen quite a lot of the country already. But just a quick in and out, just like the burgers.
And you are the district governor-elect for your district in Australia for the Rotary Club there, right?
That's right, yeah, that's exactly right. I'm the district governor-elect, so I take on the big job in July of 2025, and my furthest club is about a 10-hour drive from me, so it's certainly a large district.
And you're going to be speaking to the Sierra Vista South Rotary tonight. Talk about why you came to Sierra Vista. What brought you here to Cochise County?
Well, Rotary brought me here. I had no other choice. I was here in Arizona in Tucson for a Rotary conference, and I've been brought down to Sierra Vista as a guest of the clubs, and had a tour of the Army base here and around town, and I'm here tonight to talk about Rotary, talk about how we can get some young people involved and how we can give back some community service.
And that's the one thing too, is the Rotary is known as kind of like for older people, as they say, and you're trying to change that, aren't you?
I am changing that. I'm only
because you actually look younger.
Well, I'm 43, so I don't know if I'm that young, but I've been involved with Rotary now for 25 years, as a matter of fact. Yeah, so I joined when I was 18. I'm 18 years old. I didn't really want to help the world at 18. I just wanted to meet a girlfriend, but of course, after 25 years, that's changed. I've got a partner and everything now, and a couple of kids. But Rotary sustains me, and it gives me the opportunity to give back, but also a great way to meet people of my own age, but also the people older than me, in a cross-generational thing. And I think that's so important in an area like Sierra Vista, is to attract the varying generations of people, because we can all give back service. So for me, I feel like Rotary is open to everybody, whether you're black or white, or gay or straight, or abled or disabled, rich or poor. Everybody has the ability to help another person in need, and through the Rotary clubs here in Sierra Vista, it's a great opportunity for you to network, make some new friends, and give back.
And define what the Rotary Club's mission is, because I think a lot of people, a number of people watching, maybe don't even know what a Rotary Club is.
Sure. Look, Rotary really, it simply is, we are doing good in the world. And that's what, when people ask me, what does Rotary do? We help people. That's what we do. We help people. That is exactly what we do, and it's as simple as that. So be it helping out with food banks in this local community, or be it building a kids' playground, or helping people in Mexico, or doing a project overseas in, say, Turkey or something like that. The wide array of community projects that you can work on through your involvement with the local Rotary Club is just infinite.
And you're from Australia. What part of Australia are you from?
I am from the best part of Australia. I'm in Sydney.
In Sydney, okay.
Yeah, where the Opera House and the Harbour Bridge, and you've everybody's seen that on the TV. That's exactly where I am.
It's a beautiful area. What's your experience been like so far in being in Sierra Vista, Tucson, and visiting here?
Look, it's been a bit of an adventure, actually. Going from Tucson to Sierra Vista, the scenery changes so much. You've got is it Sonara cactus, or however you pronounce it, growing in Tucson, and then you've got everything else down here. And I managed to get to close to the border near Nogales there, and saw a little bit of Mexico, and had some tacos, which was fun. Yeah. And then also just seeing the wonderful scenery, the nature, but also the wonderful sky. I mean, it's just, there is no clouds anywhere. It's just been an absolute beautiful couple of days, and I've been told that the weather is certainly come for my visit, so it's been quite cool, and it's lovely. I've had a great time here so far.
Yeah, you'll see when you live here long enough. This is one thing I discovered being here for about 7 years now. You'll see some of the most beautiful sunsets that you'll see anywhere in the world.
Well, certainly
not every sunset is that way, but I'm just saying that I've been amazed sometimes at the sunsets.
Well, I tell you what, with my jet lag at the moment, I've been seeing plenty of sunrises here in Arizona, but I'm looking forward to... I've caught some of the sunsets as well, but the jet lag has got me up pretty much 24 hours at the moment.
Well, you're going to be speaking here, and we just wanted to welcome you to the area, get a little understanding about why you're here and about Rotary. And you're going to be talking. What's your talk going to be about tonight in general?
Look, it is about Rotary and how we best can position ourselves to be a leader in our community, how we can promote and better brand ourselves. I'll also be talking a little bit about my own journeys with Rotary and my Australian as well, because I'm sure there's a few people here who want to know a little bit more about Australia and where I'm from, and I'll be weaving that through and talking all about all that sort of stuff.
All right, sounds great. Thank you so much for joining us today. I do appreciate it.
Thank you. Long time listener, first time caller.
All right, thank you. That's great. CoolFMOnline.com. You can listen to us around the world, even in Australia. All right, there we go. There we go, folks. It's a special night here in Sierra Vista, and we'll just take it away here for the program of the night. And Carl is going to take it away. Carl, it's great having this special guest here tonight.
I appreciate it. Yeah, it is. It's not often we get an international visitor here from Rotary.
And you're going to be kicking off the program here in just a few moments.
We start out. Of course, we start out with the pledge. We have our own four-way test for Rotary, and then I'm going to call up Sue Archibald. She's our district president, and let her introduce all of our other guests for tonight.
All right, sounds good, Carl. All right, we're ready to roll here.
Perfect. Todd, are we going to put all that on
Yep,
there?
let's do it. Yep.
So, folks, for our guest, our flag is over this way. Ralph, if you would lead us, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Esther, if you would, please, ma'am.
Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for all gifts of life, for joy, satisfaction that is ours in Rotary. Strengthen us to be responsible citizens of our environment, our nation, and your will.
Amen.
Sue, if you would lead us in the four-way test, please, ma'am.
Of the things we think, do, and say.
Number one.
Is it the truth? Is it the truth? Number two.
Is it fair to all concerned?
Number three. Number four.
Beneficial to all concerned.
And
Thanks.
is it fun?
Is it fun? Says the lady with the smiley face pin. All right, folks, have a seat, please. We got a couple of visitors tonight. In case you haven't been able to tell, there's other folks in the room. So I'm going to start out. I'm going to bring up Sue. Everybody knows Sue. Sue's been around here for a minute. She's been involved in Rotary for a tick. Yeah, we'll just start it that way. Our district governor, folks, Sue.
It's always great to be here. I love you guys. And I love this restaurant, to say the least. Always have good food. But it's my honor tonight to, number one, introduce you to Evan, who's going to speak tonight and talk to you a little bit about what goes on in Australia. How excited he is. He's district governor in his district next year, so he's a district governor-elect. So anybody that thinks district governors have to look like me, they can also look young like him. And there's a lot more of those than you realize. The other person I want to introduce is Casey. She's the president of the club, the Sierra Vista Club. And she's here visiting, and we love having you here because this is fun. So I hope that you enjoy. You had fun today with Nancy. She was the hostess. He spent last night with my club over in Sonoyta at the stakeout and at a couple wineries. And then tomorrow morning you're going horseback riding with another club member, and we're going to go to Tombstone. I mean, we have a busy couple days, and he's leaving on Wednesday to go back home to his 3 little babies, and his wife will be glad to see him. So Evan's...
Well, maybe.
So Evan, come on up. And what you didn't see at the conference, what you're missing is he has a full suit. He has a tie, the pants, the socks, the sunglasses.
Hang on, I've got the-
What do you got? Oh.
Well, that fixes all of it. That fixes all of it. That does it.
So he's so at the conference this year, my goal was to promote having a good time, understanding that Rotary isn't just for all us gray-haired people. We have quite a few young speakers, to be honest. We had folks talking that became district governors from RILA. They're young men that are now district governors, and 15 years ago they were in RILA, and they have children and families and careers. So trying to promote that it's for everybody,
Yeah.
not just gray hairs. Right?
Don't call her a gray hair lady. Don't agree with it. It's not safe.
Anyway, please enjoy Evan.
Thank you. So I'll say g'day. G'day, mate. Yes, always. And we normally would say, I mean, we over-announce g'day, but in Australia we would say to somebody, yeah, g'day, mate, how you going? If there's another Australian room, he'd be fine. He said, yeah. So I would say, look, if you want to stand up for me, just so we can do it.
Oh, dear God.
Like that. Yeah. I'd say, in an Australian, I would say, yeah, g'day, mate, how you going?
Good
So it was basically, I've said, yeah, g'day, mate, how you going? So, but as Australians, we've asked that question, but I'm not particularly interested in what the reply is. I don't really care. All I know is just reading. G'day, how you going?
So it's the same thing as here.
Basically, yeah. So it is wonderful for me to be here. This is like my third Rotary Club this week or something
In
like
2
that.
days,
And
yeah.
I'm doing another tomorrow and all the rest of it. It might be a bit of a relief to get on that horse. Not for the horse, but for me anyway. So Sue invited me to, or via Nancy, invited me to come to the conference in Arizona. For some of you who may be on social media, I'm somewhat popular on Facebook with the Rotary crowd. Got a lot of followers, and this suit has certainly helped with that. And I normally, at the conference, I spoke a lot about the Rotary Club branding and marketing and how we can better position ourselves as a leader in the community and, hopefully do better than the Lions do. I don't know, do you have a Lions Club here in Sarah?
Yeah,
Okay,
so
well,
isn't
let's work on doing better than them. But let me give you a little history, and I'm happy to answer some questions because I don't want to just sort of me just talk to you all, and I'm happy for you to ask me anything about Australia and whatever else, and we can go from there. But I'll give you a quick rundown. I'm 43 years old, but I have been involved with Rotary for 25 years. Wow. 25 years. So I joined Rotaract, which is you've all heard of Rotaract, I'm sure. In Australia, it's more community-based clubs than it is university. So I joined at the age of 18. Now, I didn't join Rotaract to change the world or to make a difference or anything like that. I was an 18-year-old red-blooded Australian male. I joined simply to have sex. Or to meet a girlfriend anyway. And I was fairly successful with that. My priorities, of course, changed as I got older. The novelty certainly soon wore off, but we all joined for very different reasons, and the reason why I joined Rotary is certainly very different to why I joined Rotary. But I was involved with RILA in the year of 2000, which was 24 years ago, which is a long time. And I was on a Rotaract exchange program to India, and I participated in polio eradication while I was over there. And I've been on a group study exchange, and it was my very first trip to the United States, and of all places I went to New Jersey. So, yeah, bada bing, bada forgot about it. What are you doing?
That's the funniest thing I've seen all day.
I'm thinking Secaucus. Anyway, but the doors of opportunity have been sprung wide open for me with Rotary, with what I've been able to do, and it's just an amazing organisation for someone to be involved with. And I sometimes think when we do become members of Rotary, sometimes not all of us take full advantage of that membership. you know, of the worldwide organisation that is Rotary International. I've been so fortunate to go to some of these large scale conventions in various cities around the world, meeting the internationality of Rotary, people from Africa and Asia and, you know, England, Germany, Italy, South America, you name it, and just seeing how well Rotary does in the world and all the lives that we change and the projects that we do. And it's, you know, taken me to these places. It's taken me here to small town America as well. So I get a cross reference of the amount of stuff that we do. But what we don't do though is we don't really do a good enough job in marketing that to our community. You know, we really do hide ourselves under the bushel. And if we want to grow as an organisation and get more members and attract people in there, you know, 50s and 40s and 30s and 20s and all the rest of it, then we have to be active in promoting what we do. And I certainly use social media to do that, and I encourage a lot of other clubs to get out there and start ramping up their activity on particularly Facebook and showcase what your club does in the community. Because a lot of the time the community would take what the work you all do for granted. You know, you might be doing the food bank, or you might have a playground that you set up, or whatever you do here in Sierra Vista. Sometimes the community just might not be aware of it. And I think if we can get a better job at promoting that, I think we would see our membership, you know, get a little bit further. But the onus is not just on the one person in the club. It's not on the club president. You know, it's all of our job to get out there and start talking about Rotary and having those conversations with your next door neighbours or your friends, your work colleagues. Talk about, you know, the benefits of being involved with this organisation, and also to develop relationships with people that your club might put through some of our alumni programs. So if you do have a Rotaract club in this area, probably not if you don't have a university, but if you do sponsor RILA students or things like that, develop a relationship with them, invite them to your club, and not just invite them once, you know, build a rapport and get them to come along. See, for me, that's kind of how I felt with Rotary. Because I was involved from such a young age, it just felt so natural, like I grew up with it. So I knew all the Rotarians in my district, and, you know, joining Rotary was just the next step. But I want to talk about a real key thing that happened in my life, and it happened 15 years ago. So my then wife and I, we lost our son Thomas. He was stillborn and 26 weeks. And the Rotary District, who, you know, knew me and knew well, they raised $20,000 in my son's name for research for the Stillbirth Foundation of Australia. And for me, it's something it's always dealing to Rotary and the power of, you know, the ability to be able to help even you know, their own. And so we try and do our best to raise funds for the organisation and through the various club projects that I've got, and it's something that I feel so strongly about. But I've got some little pins here for sale too. I've only got about 8 left as well. You know, $10 each, and if you're happy to support me with that. But there's always fundraising involved in Rotary somewhere along the line. You know, we're very much like that. You know, with the what was that movie, Oliver? Remember Oliver the musical? Got to pick a pocket or two. I think sometimes they talk about us like the foundation. We're always putting our hands in the Rotarians' pockets. Anyway, this would be a great opportunity for me to answer any burning questions that you might have about my Rotary experience, or Australia, or, you know, kangaroo questions, or, you know, whatever else that you've got. I mean, I'm sure there's something that you're just dying to ask me about Steve Irwin or Crocodile Dundee or every other Australian stereotype. So, you know, as they say, speak now or forever hold your peace.
Her and I have been to Australia twice for the International Convention.
Oh, wonderful.
And down to Sydney.
Yes.
We were touring down in the capital there of Canberra.
Yep.
And we're talking to the bus driver, and he says, I think there's a Rotary Club that meets here somewhere here in Canberra at night. Her and I and another good friend, because we were on a youth exchange tour, okay? Because we've been on a youth exchange for 20 plus years. Had kids, we still keep in contact with kids from Australia. Anyway, so we walked into the club, and it was like, oh, home week. Great people, had a ball. Yeah, and that's the fun thing, like you say, of being able to walk into a strange club and halfway around the world. And hey, yeah, let's party, you know,
Yeah.
let's have a beer.
Yeah. And I think you touched on a great point there, because, and again, like when you're a member of Rotary, you're not just a member of your own club, your own community. You're a member of every club. So you are, quite happily available if you're overseas somewhere. You see a Rotary Club meeting, you go along, introduce yourself. I'm Evan, or wherever. I'm Nancy from Sierra Vista Rotary Club, and get introduced, and you meet some new friends, and you have some chats, and you never know where it leads. It leads to a visit or a vocational visit somewhere, or it leads to a project that you're working on, and for me that's just again the great thing about Rotary.
What is your business in Australia? What do you do?
What do I do? What don't I do? I'm an ex-horticulturalist. So I was a gardener for 15 years, and I worked at Taronga Zoo, and I worked in historic houses, and I worked at the botanical gardens in Sydney and stuff. Then I did a little dabble in security, which was okay. Now I am a what we call a coach captain. So I drive, the sort of tour buses that you see that might pick up the sports football team or the the bands, whatever it was. Those huge big buses. I do tour groups to the wineries in my region, and school groups, that sort of stuff. Not a school bus like a yellow one, but the big bus, and that's my kind of bread and butter. But I'm also a part-time actor as well. So I've done, numerous, too many to count, TV commercials. I've been, an extra on the Pirates of the Caribbean movie, been in a couple of movies, a few TV shows in Australia. Not enough to be able to live on, but I've certainly got it on the TV before, which is a little claim to fame. So that's kind of what I do, bit of social media stuff, and yes, to live in Australia you need to have about 5 jobs actually to be able to afford to live there.
So very excited.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So you can brag on your 3 kids.
Oh, I haven't had the chance to brag. Yes, I don't know whether I'm doing the right thing by becoming the district governor next year, because I do have an 8-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a 3-month-old. So let's just say I had to do a lot of negotiation to be able to come over and visit you in Sierra Vista. But Rotary is something that I'm passionate about, and hopefully, I want to get my kids involved as much as possible. They probably don't want to. They'll probably want to just join Lions, to be honest. But as they get older, I'd love to get them involved in Ryla or something like that. So yeah, it's a real family affair with me and Rotary, and I think again it touches on a good point on how we can sort of move our clubs and make them more welcome to young families, particularly in this area of Sierra Vista. And I saw when I went and had a tour of the fort, Uchi Kuchi or whatever you call it. I don't know. Whatever it is. Not Fort Bragg, that's for sure. But all the families and stuff that I saw up there, and families are looking for a way to connect with people as well. And if sometimes it's I don't know how you'd be able to change or what you could do, but trying to bring and encourage young families with their children and stuff to come along, or at least have opportunities where the families can be involved with some of your club activities is also a great way to encourage that next generation to be involved with your club. Anyone else got anything else? No? Yep.
I'm curious, not to bring up anything negative, but how is Australia recovering from that terrible fire a couple of years ago?
Yeah, look, the bushfires we had at the tail end of 2019-2020, I think it was close to maybe 10 million acres that were burnt in Australia. Now, for those of you, Australia is about the same size as the continental United States. So sometimes people will think, oh, well, when I get to Sydney, I'm just going to drive to Uluru. It'll only take me a day, or I'll be there, and it's a 5-day drive. So if you think about it, a huge amount of the country on mostly the east coast burned. A lot of bushland, a lot of stuff that hadn't been on fire for a good 100 or so years all the fuel from the eucalyptus trees, everything there. But it decimated our native wildlife population, kangaroos, koalas, all that sort of stuff. So the recovery has been good, certainly not from the animals' perspective, and it does take a while to bring new babies and all the rest of that sort of stuff. But as far as the flora is concerned, Australia has that unique ability to be able to rejuvenate fairly quickly. So a lot of the areas that had been burnt out, regrowth, because Australia is that sort of climate, fires it is healthy in some respects for some of the country to burn. Not to the extent of what it did, but it is one of those sorts of things that regenerates the ecological system of Australia. But we are on our road to recovery, but we are coming back into our summer months, and we are expecting heat to be off the charts. Normally in Australia, in Sydney and in Newcastle where I live, you'd get consecutive days above, hovering around 105 to 110 degrees with, 80% humidity. So, not great. And doesn't really, it might drop down to about, 90 at night. So it's not all that great. So that's why everybody sticks to that's why I'm only 10 minutes from the beach where I live. But we are expecting another sort of fire season, and we're doing our best. We do that thing called back burning, which is our fire service will burn areas to sort of near close to homes to kind of prevent it from catching up later on, and ways of being able to mitigate that disaster. So.
What you didn't mention about your stillborn project is some of the countries you guys have been working in to help that.
Sure. Yeah. So like in places like Papua New Guinea, Vanuatu, and those, and it's what we're doing is like an education and working with. There's a lot of projects from our country go over to these areas. So they're building hospitals, they're training nurses. We've got a lot of medical equipment through a project called RORCS, Rotary World Australia Community Service, which donates, I'd say essentially still good, still useful medical equipment, but in today's sort of technology, a little bit obsolescence. So things like blood pressure machines, if you remember, and you've got a little bladder there and you pump it all up. And most of the things now, they're all done electronically, all that kind of stuff. And so it's a case of making expectant mothers aware of causes for stillbirth and things, and what we can do to kind of prevent some of that by either telling them not to sleep on their backs or their sides. And be aware of diabetes and complications from that. Be aware of preeclampsia and high blood pressure and just things like that. To kind of raise their awareness of those causes. So
you've been doing that for 20 years, right?
Not 20
15
years. But, I've been involved 15 years. Probably in the last, I'd say around about eight years for doing that with the club stuff. Cool. Yeah. So it's something I'm very passionate about. I don't go. It's such a hard topic to talk about, so I don't talk a lot about it on social media and stuff, but. Because it's not like we need $50,000. You know what I mean? It's
education.
It's education sort of stuff. So, but it's something that's personal to me, and I like doing that. So, yeah.
So, folks, let's do this. Let's give Evan a chance to eat. So, two things. One, let's say thank you to Evan for speaking to us tonight, coming all the way. It's a long way for him to come. If we would, thank you. And two, Todd from Cool FM. Thank you for coming and seeing us and helping us spread the word about what.
And thank you for the meal here too, as well.
So
yes, ma'am.
Maybe what you could share as Evan eats is some of the projects you guys do. He's really interested in what we're all doing in the United States.
Absolutely. Tell you what, you sit down and I'll go up there.
Okay, sure.
Thank you, Evan.
And then we'll give Todd a chance to eat too. So, as you know, there's multiple clubs, Rotary clubs in Sierra Vista. The big projects that Sierra Vista South Clubs does is we have the Little Free Library program that we run. We also do the dictionary project for schools around here. We're now running on an annual basis our annual Spirit Fest, which just went off on Saturday. It's a West End, let's call it a street fair is the best way to describe it. So it's for folks here. We had a couple thousand visitors last night, kids. Saturday night. And it was a really good time. The other clubs run different projects that are specific to them. What have you guys done? Caught you right in the middle, sorry.
Our big fundraising service project that funds, I would say 99% of our projects throughout the year is the 4th of July fireworks display and everything that goes on in the park with scheduling the vendors and the food services. And that's really great because we do have a club that is getting a little older, so that helps us do less fundraising, but still gives us a pretty decent budget to go back into scholarships and nonprofit grants and some of our service projects that we do.
Sure. So, for those of you who don't know, Rotary is about service. It's in fact service above self. From at the local community level here, all the way up to the international level. So, if it's something you're interested in, we meet Mondays here at the Landmark at 6. You guys meet?
We meet Mondays at noon at the college.
At Cochise College, and there's also a morning club for those of you early risers. They meet down at my place. It's Wednesdays at 6:30, right? Yeah, it is. Wednesdays at 6:30.
At your place?
No, at my place.
Oh,
down
okay.
on Fry Boulevard. Not my place. You can come to my place at 6:30, but you ain't gonna get fed. So we have different clubs that meet at different times, so that whenever you're available, morning, noon, or night, whenever you can spare the time, we'd like to have you. What else?
Good job.
All right.
Todd, thank you.
Sounds good.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely, guys. Thank you so much.
Have a great night.